All right, so picture this. You've landed, you've grabbed your bags, and you're finally at the rental counter. You get those keys in your hand, and you are ready to get your trip started. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself one really, really important question? I know. It sounds incredibly dramatic, right? But for some travelers, this is a terrifying reality. Today, we're going to dive into the crucial checks you absolutely need to make to ensure your rental car is actually safe to drive. And to see just how high the stakes are, let's start with one traveler's story. To really understand why this is so important, we have to talk about Josie Daigle. Her story is, well, it's pretty much the perfect example of how a completely routine car rental can go horribly, horribly wrong. I mean, the scene couldn't be more ordinary, right? Josie's in Boston, she's with her two kids, and she picks up a car from one of the big national chains. She does that quick walk around that we all do. Everything seems fine, so she heads off. It's a scenario any single one of us could be in. But here's the thing. It wasn't fine. Not even close. Halfway through her drive, the left rear tire suddenly just blows out. Now she manages to pull over safely, thank goodness, but now she's stranded on the side of the road with her two kids just waiting for help. When the tow truck driver finally showed up, he wasn't just surprised. He was floored. He told Josie he could not believe the rental company let her drive off the lot with those tires. He said they were so bald, he figured she must have been driving the car for weeks. This wasn't some random failure. It was a predictable one. And Josie's story isn't just a one-off, a piece of bad luck. It really points to a much bigger gap in the rental car industry. This massive disconnect between what they promise and what customers sometimes actually get. Of course, the industry will tell you they take safety very, very seriously. According to J.D. Power, rental companies are getting more careful, and a big part of that is because of the huge legal liability they'd face for renting out unsafe cars. They have processes, they have standards in place, and this is really the core of the problem. On the one hand, you have the promise, right? They talk about a standard of care and giving you peace of mind. But the reality? Well, those standards are almost impossible for you, the customer, to verify. There's no national database on rental car safety, so ultimately, that final safety check, it falls on you. So what this really means is that you have to take control. You simply cannot assume the car they give you is safe. But the good news is there's a simple 3-step check that you can do before you even think about leaving that rental lot. Let's just break this down. It is as simple as asking one question, doing a quick walk around, and then using your smartphone for a final check. Seriously, these 3 simple steps could save you from ending up in a situation just like Josie's. All right, for step 1, you want to focus on maintenance. Frank Harrison, an expert with World Travel Protection, says to look for a service sticker right on the windshield. If you don't see one, don't be shy. Just ask the agent for proof of the last service. It's a simple request that tells you exactly when a professional last checked out the car. Step 2 is that visual inspection, and this is where you are your own best advocate. CarSite founder Sean Miller says to just check for the really obvious stuff. Look at the tires. Do they look worn out or bald? When you start the car, do any warning lights stay on? And as you slowly pull out of the parking spot, how do the brakes feel? Trust your gut on this one. And finally, step 3 is a quick digital checkup. Every car has a unique vehicle identification number, or VIN. You can usually see it on the dashboard right through the windshield. Just pull out your phone, go to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's website, and type that number in. It takes less than a minute, and it will tell you if there are any open safety recalls on that specific car. Okay, so you've done your checks, and something just feels off. A warning light is staring back at you, or maybe the brakes feel a little spongy. So what do you do now? The answer is simple. You don't drive it. Personal injury lawyer Amanda Demanda is crystal clear about this. She says, speak up immediately. Don't worry about being difficult or causing a delay. Just turn that car right back around and ask for a replacement. It is absolutely your right as a customer to be given a vehicle that you feel safe in, period. Now let's go back to Josie Daigle's story because, believe it or not, the nightmare wasn't over. Her experience with her second rental car is really where the most important lesson is. So her rental company sets her up with a replacement vehicle at a nearby airport. Now, after everything she had just been through, you'd assume they'd give her the absolute safest, best-maintained car on the lot, right? Well, you honestly cannot make this stuff up. As soon as she got into the replacement car and started it up, a dashboard warning light came on. And the problem? Low tire pressure, the very same issue that likely led to the blowout in the first place. But this time was different. Josie had learned her lesson, the hard way. She immediately went right back to the counter, explained what was wrong, and asked for another car. She didn't hesitate. And the third car? Well, the third time was the charm. It was perfectly fine. So the lesson from Josie's whole ordeal is crystal clear. No matter what promises a company makes, you can never, ever take the safety of a rental car for granted. You're the final line of defense, and you have to do your own checks every single time. And remember, this is even more important depending on when and where you're traveling. Driving with worn tires or brakes that aren't working right is always dangerous. But you throw in some bad weather, like rain or snow, and a minor issue can turn into a major accident in a heartbeat. So the next time you're standing there with those rental keys in your hand, just take a moment. Go through the steps, because knowing what to look for can truly make all the difference between a great trip and a roadside nightmare. So let me ask, what will you check on your next rental?